Hi, we're back again. I never know how to start these things. It's always so awkward. It's like, what do you do? Right? So, we're talking about the last two agreements. The last two agreements, which is do not make assumptions. Okay. So, do not make assumptions. So, we tend to assume, we tend to make assumptions all the time. As humans, our brains are kind of made that way. It likes to have an answer, to feel safe. Our processing mind, our thinking mind will come up with an answer, whether it makes sense or not. Just the safety of coming up with an answer that it can accept is what will give your mind like that safety. So we tend to do this. When people tell us things, we make assumptions. And when people don't tell us things, we still make assumptions. We make assumptions because in place of asking. Because somehow we've agreed that we shouldn't ask. It's not safe to ask. But that's not true, because one of the ways you can really avoid assuming is by asking questions. You are allowed to ask questions. I think we need to give ourselves more permission to ask questions and to ask for things. You know, in the Bible, one of the things that it says so many times, one of the most repeated things is to ask. Ask and you shall be given. Asking seems to be important. So you are allowed to ask. And people are allowed to say no, by the way. And then people are allowed to ask you anything, and you're allowed to say yes or you're allowed to say no. You have that freedom. When you don't take things personally, remember, and you don't assume, you can be free to express yourself, to say what you have to say no when you need to say no, and to say yes when you need to say yes. This also helps us be impeccable with our word. Like, it's all going to be connected. So do not assume. Don't assume. It's so simple, because all you have to do is ask questions. And even after you've asked enough questions to get to a point where you think you've understood what the person is saying, don't take it for granted and assume you understood everything. Just at least have the information that you do have. So don't assume. So we do this a lot, especially with our partners. And that's one of the best places you can really practice not making assumptions, guys. It's weird. It's weird just sitting here talking. I don't know where to look. Okay, so what was I saying? We do this with our partners a lot. We assume because they love us, they should know what we think, what we feel, what we want them to do. We make assumptions in relationships. We make assumptions that we both know, we both have the same definition and meaning of, for example, marriage. This is the example in the book, okay? You assume you both have the same ideas of marriage, and then even when you realize that you don't, instead of asking, you go ahead to assume that they should know, or just like, assumptions always lead to problems. There's never a time you assume and it goes well, unless you're assuming good things. But you assume and then you get mad because it brews up some emotion in you. Now you're in this hell of your own because you're assuming. So even with your partners, ask. Like, just ask questions. Have the openness to understand what they have to say. You have to remember that this is a different person, so they'll give you a different perspective, and assume you might not have understood what they're saying. So that you don't, because assumptions they always make you upset because this person is not doing what you are expecting. So don't, nobody can know what's in your mind. Nobody grew up where you grew up. No one experienced the things you've experienced. So things mean differently to you than they mean to somebody else. You don't put somebody under arrest they don't know what's in your head. Don't make them responsible. Once you know what you mean, once you're free enough to ask, people lie. People lie. And the more you become self-aware of yourself as well, you will realize that you lie as well a lot, right? And as you try to become more impeccable so that you're not lying and just seeing, okay, people are lying, you can't now hate somebody for it, because people lie because they're afraid. They're afraid to be themselves. They're afraid to show themselves. They think that you guys have the same agreements they have in their head. So don't be mad at them and don't hate them for it. Understand that. Choose people who are already maybe more worked on, who are at a place where you like things, so that you don't have to try and change people. But otherwise, accept people for how they are, how they show up. Then you trust yourself. Yes, trust yourself. You know your word. Be like, you just have to be about bettering yourself and not worry too much about the other people. So do not make assumptions. And then the last one, it is always do your best. Always do your best, starting from the first agreement. If you break, you find yourself, you catch yourself not being impeccable, you make a new agreement right there to be impeccable, to start again. And to don't be too hard on yourself. Just do your best. And you see that as you always try to do your best, not more than your best, not less than your best, just your best, just enough energy. Just do your best. When you're done, look at it and feel like, have I done my best at this moment? And know that your best won't be the same all the time. Have I done enough right now? Okay, then that's fine. That's good enough. Doing your best won't feed the judge in your mind, the one who judges you for being wrong, for being right, for being what? Yeah. No. So just do your best, do what you can, and then move. Do to the next thing. So you will find yourself breaking the 4 agreements every now and then, because you're learning, you're teaching yourself. Remember, it's been years of living a certain way. So you're teaching yourself again. So it's going to take some time. Do your best. When you break it, you remake the agreement and keep going on. Otherwise, guys, that is the 4 agreements in the shortest version possible. There are extra things he adds because of the story and how they like all interconnect. But I think I've done my best to sum it up. If anything else comes up, of course, I'll share it. And I don't know what I want to do next, but stay tuned. Let's do this self-development journey together. Let's become our best selves and experience true freedom. Because when you do your best, guys, nobody can judge you. They can say whatever, but you're good with you. And that's what matters. For your conscious, you need your peace of mind. Remember, we're trying to quiet down our crazy minds. So, see you next time.